Okay, everybody, so I'm gonna start working on my yard. It's a big section here, lots of switches, but I'm just gonna get the main mostly done for the actual yard, and I'll come back and I'll start building the actual yard with all the ladders and all that after. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys roughly what I'm doing. And I'm gonna have my station here with some station platforms. You remember from my last layout, that's basically the setup there, but I think it was a single track and then the platform with a single track on the other side. So I'm gonna go double, which one is for the main going one way and the other is the main for going the other way. Sort of. Still have to work out the kind of track plan here. So the main, that one there that comes in, it's gonna go down, gonna go all the way down, and then come into here. I've got a nice, I think it was a 33 or 34 inch curve radius here, which will go into that. That is going to go upwards. So it's gonna go upgrade, and then it'll level out here. This here, the two tracks from the bridge, it's going to come in and it's going to do a decline or a descent, I guess, go downhill basically, and then come in here and go straight, and it's going to split. So one's going to go up here and the other one's going to go on this side, and then eventually it'll come down into just the two tracks again, like much further down here, and they'll go around, and then that'll go into the actual helix. And then, yeah, so all the other tracks in the ladder, it'll all come down into here and they'll all connect. So now I wanted to show you my actual idea, the somewhat of a track plan, if you will. So when we look at the real Englehart, I'm just going to show you. So this is where I get my reference from here. The Ontario Northland Railways book shows you a whole bunch of prototype photos, locomotives, the Northlander there, full steam roster, diesel roster. There's even some parts in there with some GO Trans locomotive stuff, and also there's some CP and VIA, some other vehicles like the bus. Very well written book. I don't think I've written the whole thing yet, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information there. Mostly pictures, if you enjoy picture books. But yeah, so we're gonna go to the very back here. I've got pictures of several different yards, and right here, this is the Englehart yard. And you can see obviously there's the station right there, right? And then we've got several ladders that come out this way, and then several ladders that go this way with multiple tracks going across. And then there's some, like there's a turntable. I don't think I'll be doing the turntable, but yeah. So now I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, and this is kind of my dumbed down version of what I'm going to do. I have to check for sizing and whatnot, but basically, second line here starts off with a ladder. It's going to be a crossover between that line and that line. They're going to meet here. Ladder coming up from this way as well. This is all storage here. And then because I have this entire open area here, it's not included here. There's nothing there. But because I don't want to leave this space unused, I'm going to do some shops in here. Maybe, I don't know, repair shop and whatnot. Just some storage for some extra locos and whatnot. And I'm going to convert that into this entire section here, 3 feet wide and about 16 feet long. I have to cut it in short here. I'll probably cut across like that because this is obviously where the helix goes, so I can't really interfere with that. But there you go. So let's get building. Okay, so because I am doing a lot of work with my yard right now, and I'm starting the entrance to the yard, and then I'm going to be building my ladder and whatnot, I think it's a perfect time to talk about cork. usually when you get your bench work done, this is the time where you're laying your cork road bed and your cat interrupts you. And then basically what happens is that, you know, you're basically prepping the area for your track, right? Now, a lot of people will just put the track down onto the surface, whether it be the wood or if you're using an extruded foam or whatever, you'll glue it right down onto that. But I like to use cork road bed. And a lot of people say, well, how do you make it bend and whatnot? Well, I'm going to show you right now, because this is how it comes, right? Just as like a strip. Now it's already perforated. You can see the line right down the middle, and it kind of, you know, bends, and it just peels right apart like that, all the way down. So you'll see, if you take a look, the folded area, if you can even really tell, there's a flat edge, which was the outside of the cork there, and then there's a slanted edge that goes on the outside. So when you have two pieces, which are exactly the same, you want the slants on the outside, just like that. So it slopes down that way, slopes down that way. And then you take your center line, which is usually where your track goes, and then you butt it up against and you run it right down. And then you just glue it down. I use no more nails. I pin it with some sewing pins, or you can use push pins. And then you give it the however long. Usually I wait a couple of hours and then it's dry. You wait until it's clear and it's good. And then, yeah, you're good to go. And that's your cork road bed. Now for larger areas, like yards, I recommend this, which is like a giant cork sheet. It's a giant square. It is the same thickness as your cork road bed, so you don't have to worry about the transition from sheet to road bed there. And I get it from Walmart. Comes in a 4-pack, just like that. It's sealed, right? It's in the the school supply section. Sometimes, especially this time of year, it goes on sale, but I usually pay about $13 for a 4-pack. And each single square is 1 foot by 1 foot squared. So you get 4. So you can do 4 feet long, 1 feet wide, or you can go 4 feet or 2 feet squared. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, many different things you can do with it. I like putting this down in my yard so that it kills the sound a little bit, so there's no rumbling and rattling. Same thing with the cork road bed. I usually put that underneath. Now most of my other layouts, I do use the foam, but this one here, I'm not using the foam. I'm going right onto the wood. So I'm doing it a little different this time. It's mostly for the switch machines because of the throw bar. It's only so long and I don't want to have to replace it. So I'm going to put my cork right onto my wood, and there you go. And then I'll glue it down, and then I can add my track. I hope that was very helpful for people who, are not used to it. They might be starting out or whatever. They didn't even know they could get cork from Walmart. Definitely you can get cork from, train stores, big rolls of it and whatnot. But it gets very pricey for some reason. Cork is not cheap, but there are cheaper alternatives. So there you go. Okay, so I'm just kind of filming as I go here. I'll do some of the work and then I'll show you what I've done, and then et cetera, et cetera. So this piece here, 4x2, basically goes right into the corner there. And then this remaining piece, which is about 1 foot wide, it might be a little bit less. I think I asked for like 11 3/4, just so I can kind of pull it, the whole thing this way a little bit. It'll sit snug up against there and right across this edge here. So yeah, so basically I marked out, that's my big radius there that'll go this way. I believe that's a 34-inch radius. Could be wrong. I can't remember. Oh wait, did I mark it? Oh yeah, sorry, it's 33-inch radius curve. Not terrible. I only do 30 or higher just because I've got the big coach cars and I don't want any issues. So that's raised up a bit there on the other side. So I'm going to be using the risers just like I did right here, but I can skip the first one and just put it right up against there, put it right up against, and then run them this way. And then you'll see here, I did this one a little bit differently. I had marked out the two tracks, you can kind of see there. And what did I use? I used a 30-inch radius there, and then a little 27.5. So, I mean, it's only for the spacing. And because I wanted to have, you know, about 2.5 inches between the tracks there, I'm going to see if I can go a little bit closer. But again, with the big passenger cars, I'm trying to stay above 30, but that should be okay because that's just a passing siding, so should be okay. But yeah, you can see that I raised it up and it butts up right up against that. It's a little bit lower, and the simple reason for that is that when I put my cork on, there we go, cork, it runs parallel there with the bridge, so the track will roll right off onto the cork. Math sucks. Yeah, I hate doing math, but for the most part, it looks like it'll work. You know, especially when I draw it out on paper or a napkin, if you guys have seen my past work. So yeah, basically draw it out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I make it work, I guess. Yeah, this is the biggest bridge I've ever really done. I've tried to make a bridge section before, but the bridge that I used really sucked. And this is way more level. I'm definitely making a point to do it that way so that it works and there's no issues, because this is going to be permanent, like a permanent fixture on the layout. So it has to work. It just has to. Now Perry had mentioned in one of my last videos there in the comment section, will I be using, whatchamacallit? Will I be using bridge track? And yes, 100%. I have some from Micro Engineering on the way. They're only 3 feet long though, which, I mean, it's not gonna come right to the end here and right to the end there. It might be in a little bit, but for the most part, you'll get the idea of it. I think I might start it actually right there, just in a little bit. And then if it comes up short at that end, that won't matter because I have a module coming out right here. So you won't really see this unless you're on this side, but that won't matter anyways. It's going to be more of a vocal point going this way as opposed to this way. So me and my big ideas, right? So Micro Engineering, code 83, that's what I've got on the way right now. I'm expecting a couple of packages this week, so should be good, should be good. Especially cork, tons more track, because I've got to continue, I've got all this to do. Now for the back section here, because I'm going downgrade here, I need to come upgrade here. So this is where the risers are gonna go. And it's going to slowly go up, and eventually the two will meet in the middle. And this is kind of how I'm setting up my station here. So one track will be the far track closest to the station there will be going down that back way, and the one that's closer to me is the outside track here, this one right here. And then this track here is going to come right along this side of the platform. But that's also the entrance here to the yard. So you'll be able to get into the yard that way. That's where the ladders are gonna go. And yeah, so that's basically all I've done so far. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's a lot of work though.